Oh gosh, I don't know what's happening to me, but I am pigging tired. Much of the time, so that's great. Anyway, it's a very fun day today. Let me just say to my wonderful husband, I met him 25 years ago today, and so it is a amazing day here. Um, Celebrating this weekend. It's going to be lovely, but look, there's a lot of people that thank my husband all the time for being wonderful, and actually he is. And so over the last 5 years, I must say I have been far less around than I used to be, considering up until 2018, I basically was just a stay-at-home mother, and I do mean not a housewife. I do mean somebody who didn't really do any housework. Literally a stay-at-home mother, and I'm very lucky. You know, sometimes you get to fall in love with someone that you actually still like 25 years later, and I am one of those. So, look, it's also so this is this is new. This is an oversized. This is actually a small. So it's an oversized sweater. So for you ladies, let me just say, for you ladies who are rather ample, and have been complaining for a while that there's not stuff for you, we have, oh my gosh, I'm so delighted. I'm going to release them tomorrow, but we have found some really lovely, very female, very feminine, but larger t-shirts. So they've got quite a scoop neck. So if you've got ample breasts, they give you a good shape here, and they've got like a little sort of, I don't know what to call it, but they're not straight across at the bottom. They've got a nice curved bottom, and they really are like a proper woman's t-shirt, but they go up to a pretty big size. So they're a nice oversize. So I'm really pleased about that because it's just been so I can't tell you. I feel terrible as a woman who campaigns for women's rights to really exclude so many women that feel that they can't wear anything because it just doesn't quite fit them properly. So I promise I've looked in so many places, and finally we found one. And we'll be putting it up as soon as possible. Scooped. Thank you so much, Ban. I can't actually find any words today. Linda Law has just arrived to ample breasts. It's a place we all like to arrive, isn't it? Anyway, enough about me. Perhaps we would all like to remember a little bit of this.
Kelly, first of all, tell us why you was this just you, or was this part of standing up for women? This is a pressure group you're involved with.
So it's part of standing for women, but it was something I really wanted to do because I've noticed over the last few years we seem to be losing the word woman. So we might be called cervix havers or menstruators. Well, in cervical cancer campaign material, the word woman doesn't appear. Menstruators, chest feeders, pregnant people. And I just thought the essence of this debate and what we're losing is literally the word woman to mean adult human female.
But people seem to be embracing the word woman as well. You're saying that it's disappearing. I think that that's not entirely the case. I mean, I think women are being very much embraced at the moment as well. We're very much in the news. Women are taking over very high positions of power. Do you not agree that that females are being celebrated?
Well, you say female and woman interchangeably, and I would agree with you, but that isn't what's happening in the public sphere. So we had Philip Bunce just winning a woman sort of entrepreneur award or business award, and he just wears a dress one day a week. So it's being diluted.
So how do you define
look, women, as a man on the outside here, right? This just makes me feel that you're making the word female more exclusive than inclusive. You're claiming it back. You're fighting for it back,
Absolutely.
Right? You think it's been diluted. Let me ask you, beside you, India Willoughby, she transitioned from a male to female, what, 3 years ago now?
3 years ago.
Yeah. Why does she threaten you?
I think when you decide that men can come into women's space, it's no longer a women's space.
But she sees herself as a woman. You in every way, and they explained to me how you react to that assertion.
I just want to ask you, Kelly, what would make you happy? Would you want to shave my head? Would you make me want to wear boys' clothes? Take my driving licence away and change it back to a male driving licence?
Absolutely not. You can do anything you want, just you not be recognised as a woman in law.
But Kellie-Jay,
I am
Kellie-Jay, if she sees herself as a woman, do you have any sympathy that you're looking at a woman who was trapped in a man's body?
No, unfortunately, I really don't think you can change sex in any meaningful way. Every cell in the human body has got the DNA code of what sex you are. So India obviously looks like a woman, but I don't see India as a woman.
Right. And what is it about trans people that makes you so angry? I mean, me as an individual, I've read some of your tweets and you've said that trans people are out to annihilate women and extinguish them from the planet, effectively. Now,
I don't think I've ever said that.
But you don't recognise trans people as women, do you?
No.
So what would you say to the... Literally, my mum is obviously a woman. She loves me to bits. My sister, you know, she just accepts me now as her sister. I've got literally hundreds of women friends. I just lead a normal life. So why is that troublesome for you?
Why can't you do that still as a man?
No, but why is it your business?
Because it affects women in law and the way we live. It absolutely does.
It doesn't affect anyone.
Of course it does.
How does it affect us?
So, for example, if I was arrested today by a police officer who still had a penis but said he was a woman, he's allowed to intimately search me. Now, the reason he's allowed to intimately search me is because a transgender police officer who said he was a woman took the police to court to have that right because he said it was discriminatory
but if
for him not to be able to.
If he believes he's a woman, you're saying that doesn't make him a woman.
That's saying I have to indulge in that belief also, and I don't.
But when you're sitting with somebody like India, who has, from a very young age, felt very wrong as a boy, has lived as a woman for many years.
What does that mean?
Had the full transgender reassignment surgery. I mean, there's a lot goes into this. That is not just done on a whim.
Yeah.
And you're now saying that she can't be a woman.
What does living as a woman actually mean?
Her.
What does living as a woman mean?
Ask me. I think that's a really good question. Well, you know, I have something called gender dysphoria. It's a recognised medical condition the world over for 50 years or so. And the treatment for somebody like me who felt gender dysphoria is the only way I can feel normal, if you like, is by transitioning. And I've transitioned, and life is great. You know, I have no problems. I pay my taxes.
Okay,
I have
what
a
does
responsible
living as a woman mean?
job. I'm living as me. I'm living as me.
Yeah, but what does living as a woman mean? We need to define these terms.
What does it mean to
Well, it
you?
means that I have a female body, and in the society in which I live, there is a two-way street. The way I feel about myself and the way that society views me. And unfortunately, no matter how I feel about myself, I can't enforce a society to indulge in my delusion.
Okay. Can I ask
But
one
you're saying that she's deluded
I'm saying
want
that
to
India
be a
isn't
woman.
a woman.
Yeah.
I'm saying that men cannot be women. And now India's free to live their life however they want.
But you wouldn't
can't
want
be
me
a woman.
legally recognised as a woman. So let's say, for an instance, I could go out on a night and I got raped. So would I go to a women's refuge in your world?
Well, no, because then it wouldn't be a women's refuge, would it?
So where would I go?
Well, you could raise money and make your own refuge.
But why does it...
Why are you
Let's
trying to
not be personal. We're talking about
You
a
are
broad...
being, but you are being very
that's
personal.
almost
OK, but
like
you're
if
asking me
this-
to keep talking about India. Let's talk about the broad basis of women and men.
But
so
India does represent a lot of people who
No,
have
India
transitioned.
no.
She does. She speaks about it very openly.
Well, Miranda Yardley does too, and he doesn't agree remotely with India.
See, the trouble is, in this day and age, your poster was taken down, and one of the complaints the main complaint came from a Dr. Adrian Harrop, who is not trans, but describes himself as an ally of the transgender community. And he complained to the Billboard company that your poster would serve to make transgender women feel unsafe. And in fact, it was a transphobic hate crime. Do you see yourself as, I mean, are you proud to be transphobic?
I don't know what transphobia means unless
Well,
it
you
means
don't
that I
stand
don't...
for her and what she
No.
is.
You paid
don't
for a
tolerate-
poster put
to
on a
talk
wall.
about women, adult human females, and the fact that it's deemed transphobic, it absolutely highlights the absurdity of what's going on.
You've actually been investigated by the police for
Yeah,
malicious
for saying that you
communications.
shouldn't. No,
But what?
no. I was interviewed by West Yorkshire Police, of which I could make lots of comments about their behaviour, and they wanted to see, test the law as to whether or not it's unlawful to say that you shouldn't take a 16-year-old to Thailand and castrate them.
But why is this your business? It's a personal family matter. There's going to be a
It's not a
big
personal family matter.
ITV
Susie Green is part of the
drama.
whole career.
Are we
this.
agreed there's just terrible confusion and there is a long way to go with all of this?
No, I think I'm agreed that this is an absolute assault on women and womanhood, and we are losing...
None of my women friends feel that.
Well,
I
that's your
know.
women friends.
I don't think the nation
So you
feels
don't
it as a
respect her
problem.
journey in any way? I mean, I think...
I don't see why that matters.
I think it does.
No, I
matter
don't think
because-
it matters. I
Well,
don't
to
think
me,
I need
can I
to
just say
respect
again
an
as a man,
individual's
right, I couldn't
journey.
say the sort of things you're saying, and you have every right to say what you say as a woman. I've no difficulty with that. What I don't understand is why you don't empathise or understand that I don't think India does this for fun.
No,
Can I
it's
just...
Nobody's
horrible.
saying that.
It's not like
there's no pleasure in being trans. I don't get a kick out of it, a buzz.
So therefore,
it's really, really tough.
Can you not sort of see that she has a journey, that she's looking maybe for a destination with other women to say, please embrace me, please understand what I've gone through?
Well, what about Karen White, who claims, who is a trans woman, who went into British prisons and raped women in female prisons?
Well, Myra Hindley, Rose West. What
Oh,
are
no,
you,
no,
what are you
no,
saying
no.
for
There's
one
80,000
example?
men in our prisons. There's only 3,000 women, and 12,000 of those men are sex offenders. So there's no comparison.
But for you, Kelly, where...
I am a real woman. I'm a real woman. Let that penetrate. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, hi. Oh, I've been wanting to do that for ages. It does totally make me laugh. Oh dear. Oh, anyway, isn't it interesting? It's just nuts. It's just nuts. It's nuts. I really, really thought. Sorry, I'm just watching all your laugh. I just don't understand. Like in that thing, we know that Eamon is lying. We know that Ruth. We know that both of them. It was the right thing to say for them for their careers at the time. Absolute nonsense. I think all of them knew. All of them knew it was a lie. Just totally nuts. And I really didn't know. I sort of thought maybe it was going to be good cop, bad cop, and India would be there, and maybe India would and I would have a lively debate, shall we say? I had no idea. I was totally set up. I had no idea that they were going to lie. And then what happened after that, which is not recorded anywhere, I don't think. But Ruth then pretended that on Twitter everybody was against me. So then she started saying, nobody agrees with you. And she started reading out tweets from people that didn't agree with me. And actually, when you looked at what the tweets were, it was completely most people on my side. I think the Daily Mail went with me being a terrible person as well. So, the climate has changed somewhat, but have there been those things said on those channels since, like Sky News or ITV? No, BBC did not cover this at all. So has there been that sort of debate where a woman has basically said, look, I don't think they're women at all? Has anyone been that forthright? I mean, I don't want to tell myself, or I don't want to sit here and blow my own trumpet, but has there been anyone that's been saying this stuff quite so clearly as I did 5 years ago? I don't think there has. I think everybody is far too worried about being seen as a really decent person, and I just think 5 years ago, I believe I set a little bit of a standard, and it was a long time until anybody really lived up to that. I mean, I thought after that appearance, this is kind of how misguided I am. I thought after that television appearance, actually, that I'd done so well, and I was like good. And especially on Sky News, I was a little bit funny. I was thinking, oh, that's it now. I'm going to be invited to talk about this stuff because I've just done this billboard and I've represented my points quite well, and I've not said anything really mean about these autogynephiles. And so, isn't this going to be great? Now we're going to have this dialogue on the television. And it was that, like, clearly I think I probably did too well, because then I just, it was like it didn't exist anymore. And then just before the billboard went up, I was banned from Twitter. And as you well know, I wasn't back on Twitter until just before Christmas last year. I was banned. I've been banned from Mumsnet in that time. Almost like the more strident and the more direct my speech, the more people worked against me to try and stop me being heard. So that's kind of been my journey. And it's really odd to think that I've been so wrong about the impact I assumed that something like the billboard was going to make. It's so wrong. And I think every time people on our side of the debate, every time something happens, people go, yay, oh, this is like the start of the end. It's not. It's really not. Whilst more people are talking about it, what we unravel, what we find out all the time about this stuff is how embedded it is in our places of education, in further education, higher education, in schools, everywhere. Men winning, like, really. There's a man that's just won something, and on a slide, it's like a long walk to womanhood. And I don't want to be unkind. It's very difficult to talk about him without sounding unkind. He and many other men who are winning these awards and suddenly are deemed something, they are the sort of men that most people would ignore, most people would find creepy. They'd be like the dodgy bloke that worked in a factory that everybody avoided, that probably didn't wash often enough, that smelt like an old car, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really just that these men are just complete and utter losers. And all of a sudden they're getting awards as being women. What? Because the best women are loser men. Like, what? And it's like nobody can see it. Nobody would celebrate a lank, greasy-haired woman who dressed like someone who ran in and grabbed the first things they possibly could from a jumble sale and threw them on. Nobody would be celebrating that woman and saying that she was anything. In fact, all that they would be talking about is how dreadful she looked. And yet these men, they look monstrous. They look ridiculous. And all of a sudden nobody can talk about it. Like, it's like me walking into a pub. It's like me walking into somewhere like this and nobody mentioning the sunglasses. That's how it is, isn't it? Like, these men could basically walk in like that and nobody would say you've got lipstick on your face. It's insane. And now I've got to do the rest of the thing like this. And now I better sign off. I'm so sorry. It annoys me so much that they can look so ridiculous. Like, we can't have, as women, we can't have a wrinkle. We can't have our hair out of place. We can't dye our hair. We can't have roots. We can't dye our hair. Really is very good lipstick. It's Chanel. We can't dye our hair. We can't make any money because we're grifters. So we can't make any money. We can't dye our hair. We can't live off our husbands. We can't look after our children. We can't breastfeed our children. We damn sure can't bottle feed our children. We can't give birth through our vaginas, and we certainly can't give birth. We can't have our cesarean. We can't sleep through the night. We can't let our husbands go and see our children. We can't be too beautiful. We can't be old. We mustn't be too young. And then these absolute states get on the stage and no one mentions it. No one mentions it. Anyway, we are going to be having sit-ins, right? This is what I've decided to do. I'm sick and tired. I love women ringing up. I'm sick and tired of hearing the same story. I can't use my gym because they have this policy. So, look, if you're interested in doing this, let women sit. That's what we're going to call it. Let women sit in. And we are going to go places and we are going to sit there and we're going to live stream. Bring your crochet, bring your knitting, bring a chair, bring your lunch, bring some Prosecco if you want, bring some champagne because that's the only thing I drink these days. Bring some gin, bring a book, bring your Kindle, bring some humor, have some fun. This is okay if you have disabilities. This is okay if you don't have very much money, if you want to come and do something that is practical, will make a difference, come and join us. We're going to be doing this because I am not allowing any more people. There's not going to be another woman that's not allowed to go to one of these things. And the next thing we're going to do is going to be more of the same. If support groups welcome men, then we're going to be asking women to accompany other women, and we are going to start filling these places. Let's make it awkward, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's a bit like the kids. We know they're doing it to kids, but you can't really talk about it. You can't really show the images of pictures, even though I have. But then it's like you're exploiting children that have been exploited. But how do you show people about the exploitation if you don't do it? Like, how do you change the fact that the sector that's supposed to look after the most vulnerable women is basically on its knees serving men? How do you change that without changing it? Like, how do you do it? I'm open to suggestions. I will remind you that I tried to give £20,000 to Aurora New Dawn, which is run by somebody called I think her name's Charlotte, or I don't know. I don't know what her name is. I don't expect many people will have heard of her, but anyway, she refused the money. So the whole women's sector is insane. Is absolutely run by people. I think run by people, not working. There aren't people working in it, but run by people who have egos far bigger than their desire to help women. Anyway, I'm going to go and put my lipstick on. Look, if you can, change the world and still laugh your ass off, then I promise we will win. If you can support what we do by becoming the billboard, then I promise we will win. If you can, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? If you can, just keep talking to people. Talk, and don't stop talking. Then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.